You like took lessons or something?
I did, but they never stuck at all. Like I always hated it. But the first song I learned was like this King Cruel, Baby Blue. I don't know if you know that song. Mm-hmm. It's fucking like it's just got a bunch of weird nines and shit. So I was like, I want the most complicated fucking thing.
Yeah, I went the opposite route. Yeah. I mean, most people do like the easiest chords to like, you know. And I think that the first song I ever learned was probably like Sweet Home Alabama. You know, like those cowboy chords, you know. And then I think the first time I actually took interest in like any sort of chords that weren't easy to play, like, because you know, like guitar players, like when they first start, they're like bar chords. Fuck that, you know. So, but I started listening to like probably the blues and like I think Crazy Fingers from the Grateful Dead. That song, like, it had some really weird colors, you know. And I'm like, what are those chords he's playing? And he's throwing 7 chords in there, minor this, minor that, like add 9, add this, and I'm like, hey, I gotta learn what those do, you know, and like learn how I can implement those in my Still haven't, but you know, I know enough shapes to where I could finesse their sound, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
I think that's it. You use like shapes and then trying to pull shit out of your own head. You know? At least when I think about like trying to write shit.
I think that's a much better way to do it, though. You know, because then you have a deeper pocket to pull out of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas, like, for me, I don't write. I don't do any of that. I really just like. My thing is, it's like whatever songs I really like, and I tend to like songs in like a major key, so that's usually like just happy sounding, like easy chords, you know. But I think. It's different for me because it's like when I want to like, hey, make some sounds or whatever, I have to think about like that's a D major. If I wanted to make a different sound, okay, and then if a 7 chord, you know what I mean. Whereas like it comes naturally to people who learned like the shapes, you know what I mean. Whereas
you doing like add-ons and shit like that, like add-ons, like that's how I learned about like 7s and stuff. Like I never knew this was just like regular major and this was major 7. I always thought it was just like adding something else.
No, I think how did I think about it? Like, I mean, of course I knew the foundation of every chord was a scale. So I understood what a 7 and a minor, like just remove the minor third, you know, or lower it. But like I knew those things, but like I never made the connection until relatively recently that like, hey, this is all you have to do. You know what I mean? So like now it makes it, there's a clear pathway now. But I think probably just because I haven't been practicing, you know, that I haven't picked it. This is probably the first time I picked up my guitar seriously since like this semester began. You know, so I think now that I've got like break, I'll spend some time like really starting to explore it again. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anywho, the chord progression I really like. That was Franklin's Tower, that like A to D that I was playing earlier. That's really fun. Sorry, let me count, please. that I realized I probably regret is not learning more shapes along the neck, because like I realized the shapes I'm making like are probably not the best for prolonged playing. Because like I realized my fingers get, or not my fingers, but like my palm gets really
like
sore.
Fucking,
you know what I mean?
That's the problem I have with like playing bar chords.
Yeah.
And probably why I've like gone to the lead.
yeah.
But I learned like it's somehow like how you hold your wrist and shit. And also I get like lazy with the bar chords, so I'll like leave a lot of shit out.
Yeah. I think I get that. I think my problem is like I'm about to give myself carpal tunnel because like I want every note to ring out perfectly. You know what I mean? So it's like in order to do that, I press down stupid hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plus steel strings. You know, like it's you know, which helps for other things. You know, because it's like when I do feel like going into lead, like or like if I'm switching into like lead, I'll go from, and then I'll go and do my little pickup into the tone of it is really nice because it's like you got that power, you got that drive, you know, or depending on the pick I'm using, like it really can create a good sound, you know. Yeah, it just sucks because it's like, dang, that hurts after a while, like, and then it gets sloppy until you can't do it anymore, you know.
That's why I like playing the fucking bass chords. They like just take all the low notes and shit.
Yeah.
I'll just stay on the high points.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I just learned like how many different chords are in the chord, kind of thing. Like, like you could just go from like E to D really quick.
Yeah. See, now that's cool, and that I need to learn because it's like that would be really useful.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was like, for instance, like you don't have to make that whole shape. You can just, you know, you know, that same thing. Instead of that saves a lot of energy. You know what I mean? And then you could channel that into something else. You know what I mean?
The Beatles song "I Want You." I just learned how to play that last night, and he like changes chords like in like 3 movements. It's like nuts.
That's another thing. I need to watch people play. You know what I mean?
Like I'm fucking studying.
like I realized like I said, I never learned anywhere. I just like learned by ear. So I realized some of the stuff I do is weird. Like I make like this shape, the A shape, like bar chord. I use like all 3 fingers to bar that, right? And I've been doing that for like 2 years. Whereas like I watched John Mayer play and he's using his pinky, and I'm like, that's so much easier. You know what I mean? Or like some people use their ring finger, other people use their pinky, and I'm like, Jimi Hendrix used his ring finger, which left his pinky open to do all that really cool stuff that you hear in his music. You know what I mean? B and E. B and E.
What is B?
There's one right there. There's one right there on the 7th fret. It's like that E shape. And then there's this one right here. That's the A shape on the 2nd fret. I think I never thought another one. And I really like that because it's simple. It's 2 chords, you know? There it is. arpeggiated thing. They go. And they know more shapes than I do, so they go like they just go through all 5 shapes of B and E over the neck, and they just arpeggiate it in different ways, and it's so simple, but it's so good, you know.
Like, I don't know how to get my brain to like C,
and he will flex that, like literally John Mayer. Like I remember one time I was watching this like interview where he had his guitar. He's like, yeah, you got to know G's right here, G's also right here, and G's also right here, and G's right here. So once you know that, you can just. And I'm like,
okay,
slow down, you know. So that's pretty funny. But he's right. Yeah. Like the more shapes you know, like over the neck, it leaves you open to pull out more stuff. But yeah, man, that's fun. Like that's like the intro, and then they'll like, and I'm like, yo, come on! Like they'll just like pull out a bunch of stuff. And then bro's got the nerve to be able to sing on top of that. Like, that's crazy. You sing it all?
I try to.
I resonate. I wish you were plugged into my guitar. You need a pick, by the way?
Sure, it's fun. I've been trying to get back into finger picking and stuff.
Yeah. I never got into that. That's one thing that I wish I didn't even try. You know what I mean? I really do, because now it's like I'm stuck in the place where like I'm only really using my thumb and my index finger, and like I realize that's not really the way to do it. That's one way I can make it sound pretty good, because like I got hammer-ons and I got chord shapes and I got all those other things, but it's like if I added those to proper finger picking, I'd be unstoppable. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I feel like you start with it too, and then you add the next one.
Yeah, but like
I can only use 3 fingers.
Yeah, like, I can use 3 max. You know, and it's like that's on a good day. You know,
like, start with like pinky and shit like that.
Let me throw the bridge at you. C minor, E, D, A. So it goes. Back to C. Back to the verse. Oh, that's good. That's good. So my question is, what are your thoughts? How do you think about like where you're going when you go? Because like that was pretty good, and I feel like that was one of the weirder chord progressions that I like to play, because it's just not. I feel like when bro explained like the whole thought process behind it, it's like kind of a bittersweet type deal. Like if you heard the melody, like it goes. I told Alfie I was feeling wrong, lacking in some direction. Alfie, you told me upon scrutiny, my back might need protection. And then you heard him like the solos over it, like it sounds like really like bittersweet. And I was told like this song's in the key of E, and I'm like, you're tripping, you know, because I'm like, key of E, that's a B minor, you know what I mean? It starts and ends on a B minor, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what are you talking about? It's in the key of E, you know? And dude explained that like, you know, modally, it's like the home for it is on B, but it's like when Jerry like solos over it and makes melodies for it, all of those notes are in the key of E, right? But he just starts on the B when soloing and all this other stuff, and it gives it this like flavor, almost like a minor scale type deal, you know? You know, and I'm like, that's kind of cool, you know?
I'm not hip on like words and shit. I like know them, but
oh, trust me, I don't. You know, so
yeah,
you ain't gotta worry about that. I
I'm
don't.
pretty sure like each key has like it's like the same, or so like the key of E could be like D Lydian or some shit.
Yeah.
But if you play E like you're playing D Lydian, not necessarily like I don't know what the fuck Lydian is.
Yeah.
But it's like starting on the third or the second or the fourth
yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. And like in classical, they like describe it as like the tension. This is like the resolve.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start things on the tension, I think this is how like someone just said it to me.
Yeah.
You start things on the tension, then it's like that's where you get like the blues. Like,
Yeah.
gritty, like angry or something.
Yeah, already. Yeah, off rip. Just that's cool.
Like not starting in the right technical place.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But like back to you though, like I noticed like you were vibing, you know, and like it sounded really good. Like, what is it? Are you thinking scales? Are you thinking like chords? Are you thinking like?
I think in like patterns more, cause just from noodling around and shit. Cause before I like really started taking guitar seriously, all I would do was listen to songs I like and try to solo in between the already like what the lead player is playing.
Yeah.
So you just find a lot of pockets and shit. You know?
And you just go for those pockets there.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of muscle memory.
Yeah.
But I have to really like stretch myself out, like try new stuff that doesn't sound good sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like the way to do it. You know, I definitely need to find ways to practice because like that's one thing. Like I don't have a lot of time to practice ever, so it's like, you know. And usually when I sit down and play, I'll sit and play a song. You know, just to like.
Do you ever record yourself?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you ever play back over it? Yeah. Like,
yeah. Well, sometimes. I feel like I don't do that too much anymore.
Yeah.
But like it is useful because one, you get good at rhythm real quick because you realize, dang, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
You know. And then you also you start to like hear places. Well, I could have done this. I could have done that.
Yeah,
you know? So that is really useful. I do it all the time now, but now it's more like, was I singing on key or like that type of deal.
Yeah.
So
I see you have the knowledge of like where a chord could go. From
kinda, a little bit. What I would really like is like, because you're somewhat right. Like I feel like for E-shaped chords and A-shaped chords, I know basically all of them up and down the neck, and then they're relative minors and stuff. So that's really, I don't need too much more. I mean, I could learn the other three shapes, but it's like I want to be able to maximize what I can do with what I already know,
Yeah.
And then but yeah, being able to like do that, I want to be able to. That's good for rhythm, but I want to be able to like see those shapes when I'm like solo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like anybody can like go back to that Franklin's Tower like chord progression earlier. I notice what I do is I'll stay in this one like pattern, area,
over it?
But notice I never moved away really from this root of like 5th fret A. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if I saw A right here, and A right here, and A right here, and A right here, you'd have been able to like pull from
higher
each.
Or lower,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I noticed, I noticed my boy Christian one time we were playing. He was moving. He went from this shape to like down here. And he just kept moving, and then like from there you got this shape right here, and then from that shape you can go and then move up here, and you just scaled like 3 different shapes of the. And my thing is, I don't see that. I know they exist, but when I'm in solo mode, part of it is muscle memory. I'm only moving through muscle memory and not through like where I can go on the fretboard. And then like I just don't see it. It's you're like blind to it.
One good practice. You know who Jaco Pastorius is? He was the bass player for Weather Report.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like one of the best bass players ever. Mm-hmm. He has this practice. I've been doing this a lot. Like G.
Oh.
And then you just try to go all the way down.
That's gonna be really useful. Yeah, that would be really useful.
And you just go up and down, and then you get weirder.
Yeah.
You just add different tricks and shit.
Yeah,
I still can only do it in G.
Yeah.
But, like, the more you could do it in other chords, the more that opens up to you.
That definitely. There's this chord progression I really like. I had a hard one. That's not how it goes. I had a hard run. Running from your window. I was all like running. I wonder if you care. So like it'll stay on that C for like four different times, right? And then D, C, G. It goes, I had to move, really had to move. And I'm telling you, on that chorus part, bro, there's so much opportunity for like melody making, man. Like I've heard so much different stuff from Garcia and from me, from Mayer, from whoever has like played that. Every time they get to that chorus part, they just blow my mind with the different things that you can make off those 3 chords. Really had to move. That's why, please, I am on my melody. A minor perfect, don't you come around here anymore. And it goes back to the C, the C. So, and that's like probably my favorite track to jam to right now because there's just so much stuff you can do, you know.
They're like making me like really need to study the band right now.
Bro, I'm telling you, like you get into it, it's a wrap.
Who's the one Hemi, the rhythm Hemi? I keep forgetting his name.
For the Dead?
Yeah.
Bob Weir?
Yeah, Bob Weir.
Yeah.
Like,
that man, his rhythm guitar playing, I agree. Like, cause I'm like, some of the stuff he does, but then sometimes it's just so good.
It's like that simple,
it's like stuff that you would not think about. You know, you wouldn't think about that stuff. And then like, on top of that, their tones are really, really good. Like, Jerry Garcia's tone is like really crazy, like it's dope. But like sometimes the stuff Bob Weir does, like it's like sometimes it confuses me, and then sometimes it's like that's genius. Like why? Like you would never think of that, but that's really good. But I think you dropped something. Is that yours?
I think.
Like I would never think to break it. Like as far as rhythm guitar goes. It's almost like Bob Weir plays rhythm guitar like he wanted to be lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it shows.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, I've noticed that. Like, I don't know, something about it. It's like bass players are like in my brain so elite. Like, that's melody in my brain now. Like, I used to not really look at bass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, being a black homie, I'm like, I'm not gonna play bass. Like,
yeah.
I can't be bass heavy. But, like, learning bass has translated so well to like creation through like chord progressions and shit.
Yeah.
Like you throw all the like pentatonic shit out the window. Where does this need to land right now?
Yeah, that's really important. And I think listening to the Dead really helped me with like thinking about things not in terms of like what key are we in, but what chord are we going to be on. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you listen to Garcia, my favorite thing about Garcia like ever is because of his like jazz influence, he doesn't think about things in like what scale are we playing in. he always plays what's appropriate for the chord, even in rock music, even in like that simple chord progression that we had. Like, that's obviously in the key of G, no like modal anything, no nothing. But it's like, because Garcia thinks, okay, when we switch to the C, I'm going to play the C chord tones, right? And I'm going to like make my way to them, right? Or when we switch to G, it's sharper. It's much sharper than just playing in the key of G.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you hear it when he makes those melodies, especially in the chorus, because like there's more chords there and it's sharper. Like it's very distinct. That's my favorite thing about his playing. And if there's anything that like I would like to emulate about it, you know, it's that right there. You know, don't get me wrong, he's got a host of other things.
Different bag of tricks.
Yeah.
I can't even explain.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's like you think you can do that, but no, it took him years to get there. You know what I mean? To acquire that just knowledge, you know. But at least you know where to start. You know? Yeah. I had a hard That's great. I wish my hands could hold up. You know?
It's like even the sessions have like a limit.
Yeah.
This shit, I think I'm supposed to go show up at Hobie actually.
Oh yeah? Well shoot, nice to meet you, John.
Tor.
Tor?
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you, dog.
Yeah, man. Nice jamming.
Yeah.
Probably see you there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Thanks for having me jam.
Yeah, no, anytime, shoot. You see me again? Oh yeah. Thanks.
All right.